Good evening to you. An incredible escape story tops our news tonight, an escape across the Iraqi border into Jordan, but with an Indiana connection. Dick Clay of Bloomington is a burly German-Irish Hoosier with a mustache. He managed to slip across the border with 34 Filipinos by pretending he was one of them, that he was a citizen of the Philippines. His story started in Kuwait, where he was working. He made it to Baghdad, where he stayed for 3 days before making his daring dash into Jordan and for freedom. How did he do that? Well, we hope to find out in just one moment. He can't hear us right at the moment because he can't hear us through his earpiece, but we're working on that. But in the meantime, we have his wife here, Claudia, and we're going to talk to her for just a couple of moments while we try to get the technical aspects worked out in Amman, Jordan. And first of all, did you ever worry that something like this would happen to Dick?
No, I never did. It never crossed my mind, or for that matter, his.
Okay. We now have the link hooked up now to the Mideast, so we're going to go over there right now, and I'm going to talk with your husband for just a moment. Dick, can you hear me? Dick Clay is in Amman, Jordan?
Yes, I can, yes.
Okay, very good. I've got your wife here. We've been talking for just a moment, and we're going to talk with her in a few more minutes. But first of all, I want to talk to you about this incredible journey. At what point did you hatch this plan? At what point did you say, I think I can do this?
Well, roughly about 3 days after the invasion, you know, I started looking for ways to leave. This plan came to mind, although it was the last resort that I would have used and eventually did have to use because all other roads and gateways out of Kuwait were blocked.
You didn't pass yourself off as a Filipino, but you did pass yourself off as somebody who had a Filipino citizenship. Tell us about the papers that were made to allow you to fool the people over there.
2 Filipino employees that worked for me. Well, first at that time, some Filipinos had their passports. Many people did not have passports. They were in the hands of their sponsors, and their sponsors, being Kuwaitis, had, you know, they weren't able to get in touch with these people either because the Kuwaitis might have left Kuwait or for various reasons. The embassies were giving travel documents to people in lieu of passports. 2 Filipinos that worked for me picked up blank travel documents and then actually forged the necessary documentation or stamps that would go on these documents.
Okay, so we're gonna fast forward here a minute. You get into Baghdad, you hide out there for a while, get back on a bus, and make for the border. You get to the border, and you meet up with some guards who really question who you really are and where you were really from. Tell us about that.
Well, I had already, as a matter of fact, had the travel document was stamped. 2 Filipinos left the bus, took all the documents from everybody on our bus to the customs people, and had our documents stamped for exit. When they returned to the bus, and the bus went to the gate, one Iraqi officer came aboard and again checked everybody's documents. Of course, when he checked my document, he smiled, and as a matter of fact, he said, "Are you a Marine?" And I said, "No, I'm a Filipino." He said, "Get off the bus," and at that point in time,
Okay, we have lost the audio to Amman, Jordan right now, but what he was continuing on to say was that he was detained for about 6 hours while they questioned him more about where he was from, what he was doing there, about was he a Marine, was he a U.S. citizen, and as we understand it, finally, they let him back on the bus, and one of the guards just smiled at him and said, "Goodbye. Goodbye, Marine. We'll see you." Now, are you back now, Dick?
yes.
Okay. I just relayed to the public, to the viewers, about the fact that finally they did let you back on, but they really didn't think that you were a Filipino citizen. They thought you were an American.
I think so, yes.
At any point, were you fearful for your life? Did you think that you were going to be taken back and not allowed to go across the border?
Yes, I thought I would be apprehended, fearful for my life. In a situation like that, I don't think you really think about that. All I wanted to do was get out, just simply that.
Okay, one other question before we bring your wife in here, and that is, describe quickly what life is like there right now in Iraq and in Kuwait. Give us an idea, a first-hand view of what it's like there right now.
Well, in Kuwait, the day before I left, the Iraqi government passed a law or an edict that anyone that helped Americans or Britons, any Westerner, would be hung. That meant the people that maintained the buildings, the concierges that took care of supplying water to the buildings, that type of facility, all these people left. They did not turn people in, but being fearful for their lives, they just left the buildings. These buildings, the water supplies in these buildings are not like in the United States. They actually bring water tankers to the buildings that have holding tanks on top of the buildings where the water is deposited and then used. This happens on a daily or bi-daily basis. I knew, and everybody in the building that I was in, there are some 38 people in my building, and roughly another 150 people in 3 other buildings that I was in communication with, knew that at that point that they were not going to have water. The other item is food. You could only buy food in Kuwait at the cooperatives that were in the area where you lived. To buy food, you have to show identity cards. No Westerner would be able to buy food because showing an identity card, he would be apprehended.
So you truly are trapped.
Right, and the situation is very desperate for those people.
Right, okay, right now we're going to bring in your wife, Claudia, and she can see you even though you can't see her, so say hello to each other. I know you've already talked on the telephone here, but hello once again, huh?
Hi, babe. I'm just glad to hear you, and I have heard you a couple of times, and I finally can see how you look like, and you're all in one piece.
She said you looked a little bit tired earlier. We were watching a feed of Nightline that you're going to be on a little bit later on, and she said you looked like you were just a little bit tired. And I guess that you are.
It's quite a time difference here, and these people here, they're working 24 hours a day, and I just didn't have much sleep. But no problem for me.
Well, I can assure you, when you get home, you can get all the sleep you need, okay?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Dick Clay will let you try to get some sleep. We thank you very much for staying with us, and congratulations on your endeavor to get out of there. And I know you'll be anxious to get back to Indiana and see your family and friends once again. Will you make a trip back? Will you make a trip back over there again? Quickly?
To Kuwait, no, and hopefully not to the Middle East. But if the right opportunity arises, I'd certainly suppose I'd have to think about it, because that's what I do. That's the kind of work that I do.
And that's something you're all going to talk about, I guess?
Definitely.
All right.
Yes, we want him home all in one piece, like I said, and we're going to try to keep him.
Okay. Well, it's nice to have everybody back home almost, huh?
Almost.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up and coming to Channel 6 tonight from Bloomington, making the trip up here.
You're most welcome.
We appreciate your insight, and good luck in the future.
Thank you very much, and I'm really anxious to see him home, and I'm not going to be able to sleep well until he steps into that house.
Then you believe it.
Right.
Okay. He should be home in about 3 days.
I hope so.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much to the Clays for showing up tonight and for giving us an incredible insight into what life is like over there and what life is like waiting for somebody to come back. Thanks very much. Over the weekend.